Gaurangi Bangaloreshwar Gaurangi Bangaloreshwar Gaurangi Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Varadeva Jaya Shubha Jamai Jaya Lakshmi Dara Shima Jayananta Dev प्रहलाद सिम्हा जयो आनंद देव जयो निताय चैतन्य जयो निताय चैतन्य निताय चैतन्य जयो निताय चैतन्य जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभु जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य स्तोत्र शत His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanarand Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य स्तोत्र शत His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada की जय नंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नमाचार्य Srila दास ठाकुर की जय जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शत गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय प्रेम से गौर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन गिरिराज महाराज की जय मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय द्वारिका धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय कावेरी माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories and glories and glories and glories Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudidajit Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki मूकं करोति वाचालं पद्गुणगायत्रीं ह्रीं यत्प्रपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् हरि ओम तत्सत् Hare Krishna. So we continue our conversation from the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, 31st chapter, and the shloka for discussion today is 21. Allow me to share my screen with you. Okay, here we are. Title Lord Kapila's instruction on the movements of living entities. Tasmad aham vigata vigala buddhisha atmanam sudam sasudra atmanam Eva bhuya yatha vyasanam etat anekarandanam ame bhavishyat upasrita vishnupada tasmadaham vigata vikala uttaresya atmanamasutamasa suhudra atmana eva bhuya yatha vyasanam etadane kalandharam मे भविष्यत् उपाश्रिता विष्णुपादः तस्मादहं विगता विकला वः उद्धरस्य आत्मनामसुता तामसा सुपुत्र आत्मनाम् एव भूया यथा व्यसातम् एत अनेकरन्दरम् मामे भविष्यत् उपाश्रिता विष्णुपादः translation. Tasma, therefore, aham, I, vigata, ceased, vikalavaha, agitation, uttaresye, shall deliver, atmana, myself, asu, quickly, tamasa, from darkness, sutra atmana, with friendly intelligence, eva, indeed, Bhuya, again, yatha, so that, vyasana, light, ekat, this, anekalandharam, entering many wombs, ma, not, me, my, avishyat, myaka, upasadita, placed in my mind, Vishnupada, the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Translation echoed by His Divine Grace, Vaishnava Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Therefore, without being agitated anymore, I shall deliver myself from the darkness of the science with the help of my friend, clear consciousness. Simply by keeping the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in my mind, I shall be saved from entering into the wombs of many mothers for repeated birth and death. Purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada. The miseries of material existence begin from the very day when the spirit soul takes shelter in the ovum and sperm of mother and father. They continue after he is born from the womb, and then they are further prolonged. We do not know where the suffering ends. It does not end, however, by one's changing his body. The change of body is taking place at every moment, but that does not mean that we are improving from the fetal condition of life to a more comfortable condition. The better thing, therefore, is to develop Krishna consciousness. Here it is stated that Upasadita Vishnupada. This means realization of Krishna consciousness. One who is intelligent by the grace of the Lord and develops Krishna consciousness is successful in his life because simply by keeping himself in Krishna consciousness, he will be saved from the repetition of birth and death. The child prays that it is better to remain within the womb of darkness and be constantly absorbed in Krishna consciousness than to get out and again fall a victim to the illusory energy. The illusory energy acts within the abdomen as well as outside the abdomen. But the trick is that one should remain Krishna conscious. And then the effect of such a horrible condition cannot act unfavorably upon him. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that one's intelligence is his friend, and the same intelligence can also be his enemy. Here also the same idea is repeated. Suhudra Atmanaiva. Friendly intelligence, absorption of intelligence in the personal service of Krishna and full Krishna consciousness of Krishna always are the path of self-realization and liberation. without being unnecessarily agitated, if we take to the process of Krishna consciousness by constantly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just give me 1 minute. I want to change these settings. Okay, sorry. It may be question given how the child can be fully conscious within the womb of the mother without any paraphernalia with which to execute Krishna consciousness. It is not necessary to arrange for paraphernalia to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. The child wants to remain within the abdomen of its mother and at the same time wants to become free from the clutches of Maya. One does not need any material arrangement to cultivate Krishna consciousness. One can cultivate Krishna consciousness anywhere and everywhere, provided he can always think of Krishna, the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, can be chanted within the abdomen of one's mother. One can chant while sleeping, while working, while impressing the womb, or while outside. This Krishna consciousness cannot be checked in any circumstances. The conclusion of the child's prayer is, let me remain in this condition. Although it is very miserable, it is better not to fall the victim of Maya again by going outside. Om Tat Sat doesn't the Bhaktivedanta purport to Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 31, chapter titled Lord Kapila's instruction on the movements of living entity. Next number that we are discussing today is 21. Om Jnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadahi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Patakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamtamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful wishes unto him. We welcome all the devotees to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Well, I would not call it as a class. This is a discussion that we are continuing from where we had left it yesterday. His Grace Rasmai Radharanjan Prabhu spoke very nicely about the previous purport, and prior to this also devotees have been talking about this. These are the prayers of the soul while in the womb, and these are very nice prayers. Why we say nice? Because all of us have chanted these prayers. All of us have, in some point of the time or other, have chanted this and unfortunately forgotten about it. That is because the illusory energy called Maya really takes us over. And then we forget the whole prayers that we chanted while the soul is in the womb of the mother is continuously praying to the lotus feet of the Lord, saying, "Oh Lord, please save me out of this condition that I have put myself. It is not the Lord who puts you into that condition. It's we ourselves put us into a difficult condition. When we say we put our foot in the mouth, putting a foot in the mouth is not a very good thing. We do it many times, be it in the material, body that we have here, or sometimes when we are in the spiritual body also we do such mistakes. We want to be independent. We want to be lording over the laws of nature. We want to be lording over everything and everybody around. So that is where we think that, yes, I want to be independent. I want to be the Lord. I want to be independent of the Lord. And that's where your bash comes there. The moment that you decide that you want to be independent of the Lord gives you that blessing, saying, Tathastu, go. Whatever you want to do, you want to be independent of me, try it out. There's nothing wrong. Many times, a child comes to the parent and says, no, no, mama, 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 I want this. Papa, 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 I want this. Yes, I think the parents are very well aware as to what is being asked by the child is not required by the child at that point of time. And it may not be really good for that child. But what happens is because the child continuously keeps asking for it, saying eternally no, no, no is not a good thing. So sometimes, out of the compassion of the parents, out of the compassion being the parents, they allow him to do that. And once he gets a slap, then he comes back. And then he realizes saying that, no, I think what my parents were telling me, or my father was telling me, or mother was telling me was right. I should not have done it. What happens till the time that you allow them to do it, they're always feeling that you're stopping because of your own purpose. You always feel that they are mean. My parents are mean. That is why they don't want me to, do what I'm asking them to do or get what I want. But when the parents allow the children to do such a thing and then get a slap over it and then come back, then they realize I should not be doing such things again. And that gives them that wisdom that I have done this mistake in the past. Let me not commit this mistake again. Let me not repeat this mistake anymore in my life. So here Krishna gives us that blessing, saying that you want to be independent, please go ahead, try it out. If you find that the material world is really a great place to be around, a very satisfying place, and a very comfortable place, and so we go try it out and come back. Krishna knows it very well that it's not good for us. Krishna is very confident that if he goes there, it is not going to help him. But still, he allows us to go, and he tells us saying that, okay, try it out. And when we come here, we realize that we've come to a wrong place. Like how children many times realize that, I should not have done this. I've done a wrong thing. Yeah, a very simple example is for merry-go-round. You have those chain wheels which go around. The parents know that it is scary, but because it is looking very fascinating from below to see, and a lot of people sitting in the merry-go-round make a loud noise. Now, the loud noise, 80% of the time, is the fear, is the scare that people have who are sitting and they're shouting and screaming. Only 20% of the time, people are actually, speaking out of happiness. But people sitting down or looking at them, who are onlookers to them, feel that, oh, they're enjoying. All this 100% people who are making this loud noise are enjoying. That is why they are shouting, oh, no, that's not the fact. So the child is allowed to go into the merry-go-round. And then when he goes up and when he comes down, the pull in the stomach gives him all this scare and he also starts shouting and screaming. Yeah. So until you're allowed to, do something, you're allowed to try it out, you don't feel that you're being allowed, in the sense, until you're allowed to try it out, you don't know the facts of what happens. So Krishna allows us to come here. Krishna allows us to come to the material world and say, okay, try it out. If you feel that you're going to be happy in the material world, so be, try it out, and it may be possible for you to realize whether it is a happy place or a place of misery. So likewise, in this particular shloka, if we see, it's a little different. In the translation, Srila Prabhupada says that I shall deliver myself from the darkness of nescience with the help of my friend, clear consciousness. Please understand this clear consciousness, which is very, very important. Simply by keeping the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in my mind, I shall be saved from entering into wombs of many mothers for repeated births and deaths. Yeah. As we see in the previous verse also, that Sri Prabhupada has highlighted that the soul is crying actually. The soul is crying not out of happiness. The soul is crying out of pain, which is happening. Imagine that you are put in a very small box like this and you have to, couch yourself and sit there for months together, days together. There's absolutely no light, not even a kiran of light falls into it. Yeah, there's absolute darkness. And whenever the mother feels like eating something cold, she eats something cold, and the child inside, the soul inside, suffers of severe cold. And sometimes the mother picks up a hot cup of coffee or tea or hot glass of water and drinks hot water. And that puts the child into so much of agony of being, put into hot water tub. If that's not enough, sometimes the mother eats something very bitter. Sometimes she eats something very spicy. Sometimes she eats something very sour. It's not easy to be in that stage. At the same time, if you're outside, you could always tell your mother saying that how much of sour this one you have put or how much of spicy you have put. But there, you're not allowed to speak. You can't speak. You can't express your feelings. You have to just keep bearing the pain that you're going through. 2 days back, I was stuck in an elevator and the power failed. We were trying to go up into the building, the power failed. And just being there in that elevator for some time till the power was restored and the battery backup came up. A couple of minutes that it takes for you to really be inside. But being in such a situation where you feel suffocated, what's happening? What's going to happen? Where am I going to go? Will this lift go down? Will it go up? Will I get some air to breathe? Will I survive? These are the kind of feelings that really start haunting you. But for the soul which is there in that place, there's nothing that you can speak about. Well, I was in the elevator, there were other 4 people and we could speak to each other, and by then our fear could be calmed down. But in the womb of the mother, the child is all alone, the soul is all alone. He or she has nothing to speak about. He has nothing to speak to anybody. It's completely pitch dark. Yeah. The food is given by the pipe which comes into through the mother's umbilical cord. And you have to survive in whatever you have been given. And there the soul starts praying, saying that I think I did a mistake by wanting to come here and of the Lord, which is absolutely wrong. But still I did that. Now, oh Lord, save me from this situation that I've been put into. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for me to survive here. Not only that, this hot, cold, spicy, sour. Think of the mucus. Think of the stool which is going around you. Think of the urine that is going around you. When we are even passing by a public toilet, some of us put our hand to the nose and say it's very stinky. Or you pass by a place where there is dirt, you try to avoid it and put a handkerchief on your mouth, try yourself. But think of that soul which is there in the womb, struggling this every day, and the mucus is passing by. You're sitting here and the mucus passes by, the stool passes by here, the urine all over you. it's a very vulnerable situation, very, very, very difficult situation for one to even think about. When we think about it, also we feel the goosebumps comes into so what's happening. Oh no, I can't be in such a situation. What is like it staying there for 9 months? It's very, very difficult really to go through this situation. And again, in the purport, if you see twice it is said that anybody can chant the Hare Krishna while sleeping, while waking. It is again said twice in the purport, so that's definitely meaning to it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke about the same thing. Kyare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. And he says, how do you really purify your consciousness? The consciousness can be purified by Chetu Darpan Marjana. You're standing in front of a mirror, and the mirror is completely covered with dust. What do you see in the mirror? You just see the dust which is on the mirror. You can't see your reflection. Can't see anything. Forget about reflection. So our consciousness is also polluted while we meet people in the material world. We work, we do businesses, we socialize. So when we meet people, when we see our mobiles, when we see our TVs, when we see our gadgets, our consciousness gets polluted. So the most important thing is to associate with devotees. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. What does Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan mean? Chanting together. The biggest victory will be of chanting together. Sankirtanam. It is not Kirtanam, it is Sankirtanam. Chanting together among the saints, amongst the devotees. And what happens when you are amongst the devotees? Your consciousness purifies very, very quickly. I'm sure some of us would have also experienced that we stay away from the temple for some time, for whatever purpose, maybe for professional purpose or some personal reason, because of some ailments. If you stay away from the temple for a very long time, you don't meet your friends, you don't meet God brothers, you don't go meet your devotee friends, then the polluted mind starts working on that, because you're always in the association of mobiles, you're also in the association of TV. Your consciousness gets polluted. And we come to the temple, this wonderful program that Sri Prabhupada has already established so many years back is like a sandwich. You have your morning program starting with Mangalarti, chanting, Guru Puja, and Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Prasadam. Then you start your day. Go out and talk, wherever you're required to meet the people outside, if you're working outside, or if you're somebody who's collecting donation for the temple, or if you're somebody who's a student who has to go to the college or university, then that day is for you. Then again, come back in the evening, and then you have your Tulsi Aarti, you have Sandhya Aarti, you have Bhagavad Gita class, and then you have your dinner prasad. So it is actually made into a sandwich. So, there's a pressure of Krishna consciousness from top, there's a pressure of Krishna consciousness from below, and in between, Maya gets caught up. So when Krishna consciousness is there and Maya is there, if you're able to have Krishna consciousness on both the sides, Maya cannot really act badly. The path is always thinking of the holy name of the Lord, or always to think of the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. It is very simple. If you have to become a doctor, you have to get up early in the morning, study always, attend the college regularly, attend the labs very regularly, the practicals very regularly. You can become a doctor. Likewise, if we have to become devotees, it is very easy. We have to just chant the holy name of the Lord always, think about the Lord always, have the darshan of the Lord always. We speak about this in the morning prayer. We have the Guru Astakam where we say that he is the only way to go back home. Guru is the only person who can take us back home in this material world. So the first process is to take the shelter of Guru. Ramananda Rai, when he was asked the question, which is the greatest fortune of a person? So Ramananda Rai, without even thinking twice, he says association of the devotees. He doesn't say anything else. Ramananda Rai, the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says is that association, who's the greatest fortunate person? Association of the devotee, the person who gets the association of devotee, and that's the greatest fortune that a person can have. And the worst is when you have lost the association of devotees. You're not meeting them, you're not talking to them, you're not sharing your mind with them, you're not sharing your heart with them. Ramananda does not say association of Krishna. He says association of devotees. It is very, very important to associate with devotees. You can take the darshan online. Many of us stay away from the temple. It may not be possible for us to go to the temple very regularly. Then what do? We go online and see the darshan of their lordships. And how do we have darshan of Mayapur when we are not in Mayapur? How do we have darshan of Vrindavan when we are not in Dadao? You go online, deities around the world, and you can see the deities. But the most important part is if you don't go to the temple, Krishna is not seeing you. There's a very nice story of a man who's actually blind by birth. This man every day comes to the temple, stands in front of the Lord, folds his hand, and stands there. So there was this inquisitive young man who has been seeing this activity for quite some time. And he feels he's a blind man. Every day comes and stands in front of the Lord, folds his hands, and stands. So this inquisitive man goes and asks him, saying that, hey, look, I see you every day that you're coming to the temple and standing in front of the deities. But you don't see, you're a blind man. What is the use of your coming here and standing in front of the Lord? So the blind man says that I come to the temple every day so that the deities could see me. And the Lord knows that I have come. This is what we have to practice. It's not that we go to have darshan of the Lord. The Lord is also very happy when he sees us. You've seen Jagannath, he's got big, big eyes. Why he's got big, big eyes? He wants to see devotees and relish them. And that's the reason he's got such big eyes. So if you don't come to the temple regularly, yes, there are some professionals, there are people who are staying very far from the temple. They can't come to the temple every day. But at least once in a week, minimum you should be there in the temple. The Sunday Love Feast program which Prabhupada established for us is very important and we should attend that without fail. Some of you who can come every day, nothing like it. Krishna will be even more happier. Jagannath will be more happier if you come every day. But some of you, if you're not able to make it every day, at least on a Sunday, you should come. At least on the festival days, you should come. At least on holidays, you should come to the temple. So that the Lord can see you. It is not that you're coming to see the Lord. The Lord will see you when you come to the temple. There's very nice another story of the Gopi. The Gopi says, if Krishna plays on the flute, I can cover my ears. If he shouts from Govardhana Hill, I can go far away. But please don't bring him near me. Please don't bring him near me. Because if he sees me once and smiles, I shall leave everything and go. And that's a fact. When Krishna smiles at you, your material life is finished. And once you decide saying that I want to give away this material life, I want to enter into the spiritual life, I want to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead always. So this is another story which the gopis say, no, please don't bring him in front of me. Because when he smiles, I shall leave everything and go. You leave your attachment towards the material life to be completely given up. So this is where devotees have to really think, when will Krishna look at me? When will Krishna give that smile to me? And then my material life will be finished. We all know this is not a good place for us to be. You've done a mistake. Don't keep committing a mistake. again and again and again. You decide once and for all that Krishna should look at me, he should smile at me, and then this material life will be finished, and I can go back home, back to Guru Vrindavan. There's a very nice fact of one of our devotees. He narrated this, saying that this was just before his mother was leaving the body a couple of days. And the mother was actually initiated in Ramakrishna movement, the Mayavadi movement. And this devotee's brother was also initiated into it. He was actually a sannyasi in Mayavada line, which is not very good. They are very envious of Krishna. They are very envious of devotees. They eat everything. They eat even cow, which is the worst thing that you can think. So what happens is this devotee gets to know that his mother is leaving the body, and just before 2 days, he goes and meets his mother. And while doing so, he also sent out a request to Mayapur Dham, saying that please pray for my mother. And the prayers have been happening at Sri Mayapur, and this devotees are sitting and chanting in front of them. So he says only three things that I can do, even when the person is leaving the body. He said, one is I put Kantimala in her. This one. Just give me 1 minute. I think my battery's run off the charge. If you just allow me 1 minute to plug it in, then we can continue our conversation. Please give me 1 minute. I'm extremely sorry for this interruption in between where my battery ran out of power. Okay. Yeah, so this devotee says there are three things that he wanted to do. Basically, he wanted to put one kantimala on her neck, pray for her at Sridham Mayapur. There were devotees praying, so that makes a very big difference. And while his daughter brings in a photo of Nrsimhadev and keeps it in front of him. And you know, the best part is that she has not been opening her eyes for so many days. When all this is done, she opens her eyes, looks at Nrsimhadev, and leaves the body. It is also considered very auspicious that if a person leaves the body after opening the eyes, and not only opening the eyes, having darshan of their lordships. And that is why many times we tell devotees that you should keep a photo of their lordships when there's somebody not doing well or they're about to leave their body. So they should have darshan of their lordships just before leaving, and while the kirtan is going on. So this devotee says that it is so fortunate for her to leave the body surrounded by devotees looking at the Lord. And parallelly, he says Krishna is very merciful. Krishna is very merciful. All of us know that. Secondly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is even more merciful. He says Krishna was only in Vrindavan and Dwarka. But if you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he traveled across India to all the places. He came even up to South India. And he preached. He gave the mercy of the Lord. Beyond that, Srila Prabhupada is even more merciful. Not only that, he gave bhakti to devotees in India, he also went to the Western world to preach. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered only two, Jagai and Madai. Srila Prabhupada delivered thousands of Jagais and Madais. So if you see that our parampara is so rich, and we have to take advantage of this. When we know that this is not a good place to come and live here, the soul is praying while at the womb of the mother saying that, no, I don't want to go out. I know the moment that I go out of this place, Maya will cover me up and I will forget your name. While at the womb, at least the soul is able to pray continuously. Likewise, if you are initiated and if you don't chant your 16 rounds, don't consider yourself as a disciple. You've actually broken the contract. What happens when you take the initiation? The guru is asking you to take a vow, said you will chant your 16 rounds every day. You will follow 4 regulative principles every day, all through the life. The moment you don't chant your rounds, you've broken the contract. Yes, at times devotees come and tell us that they've been busy, big festivals coming up, they've gone out to preach, or some medical emergency, or some family circumstances where they are not able to chant in the morning. At least complete your chanting during the day. At least complete it before the end of the day, before you go to sleep. Even if you're not able to do that, at least the first thing in the morning, next day before taking your first meal, you should complete your previous day's rounds. It cannot be going beyond. Well, Krishna consciousness is very simple, but it's very difficult. And if you are envious of something, you will never be able to chant. You will not be able to chant your rounds very well. So don't be envious. We don't know how miserable we were in the womb because we've forgotten. But Srimad Bhagavatam, the 3rd canto and the 31st chapter actually gives you the details of what miserable condition that we have gone through while we were in the womb of the mother. So we have to learn from our Shastras. It gives you the complete details. And though we have gone through it, as I said in the beginning of our conversation, I said, yes, we've all gone through these prayers. We've all prayed to the lotus feet of the Lord saying that, please save me. I don't want to be in a miserable condition. But the moment we are out of the womb, Maya covers us, the illusory energy of the Lord covers us, and we've forgotten. And that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us all this detail saying that this is what happened, this is how the soul prays, this is how, you are around, surrounded by mucus, bile, urine, stool, everything. We have to take this knowledge and ensure that we don't repeat the mistake again. Especially when we are young, we don't think of death. But do you think just because of not thinking of death, death will not come to you? It will certainly come to you. Eventually, it has to come. See, it is said that after that, we are bitten by 1,000 scorpions. Many people, make joke out of it. But think of having bitten by a small bee. So painful. Imagine how if a scorpion bites you. The main problem is that we think we are this body. That's the whole problem. That's the bottom line. But when you see a person who has left the body is still lying there. The relation of mother, father, the relation of son and daughter, the relation of wife or husband is all in relation with that body. The moment you decide, the moment you accept that you're not this body, your relationships will go out. And your attachment to the body will also go out. The relationships are all with the body and not with the soul. There is no relationship with the soul. And actually, Krishna never leaves us. The wife is there, children are there, parents are there, relatives are there till we leave this body. Once the body is left, it is useless. They take it, either bury it or burn it. Once they burn it, they even forget our relationship with it. Even if we are envious of Krishna, he likes us. How do you take this example? There's a worm in the stool. Krishna is there with him also, as Paramatma in his body. And if we have one friend like him, you don't need hundreds and thousands of friends. And if we really look at it, we have just appeared 2 years after the demigod's times. How do you say demigod's times? One day of demigod is 1 year of ours. So if you say 500 years back, a little more than, say, 1.5 years to 2 years. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu just left about 500 years back, 500 and odd years back. So it's only 2 years of demigod's times that they were there. And this happens only once in Brahma's day. And Brahma's day is 3.1 trillion years. You get an opportunity to get the mercy of God Nitai. And this is the only time that you can go back to Golok Vrindavan. Otherwise, you actually go to Vaikuntha. So let's not waste our opportunity. Let's not waste the precious time that we have got. Sri Prabhupada is such a merciful Vaishnava. Please take it very seriously. Go back home, back to Golok Vrindavan, chant, each prasad, associate with devotees. So it's very important that we practice it ourselves. When you're drowning, it is important to save yourself first before going and holding somebody else's hand. That person will drown you also when you try to save somebody. So first is save yourself. Be very conscious of Krishna. Krishna consciousness is all about giving. First is save yourself, then start giving it to others. Associate with Vaishnavas. And you have to try and please Krishna. You don't have to try and please yourself. That is very important. And the best way to make advancement is to please devotees. And by distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books, you actually are pleasing a Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada is a great Vaishnava, a great devotee. So if you please him, everything will happen. Your advancement will happen in spiritual life. Just think about this. Do you want to go again through the 18 years of study? Oh my God, teacher taking a cane and hitting you, giving you homework, sleepless nights. You come home, your mother shouts, screams at you, you're not scoring very well. Okay, if you're done with all that 18 years of study, then into job, finding a job, getting a good boss. Even if you get all these things, they talk about 8 hours, but make you work for 12 hours, 14 hours, 18 hours. At times you go back home at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then again to come back to the office by 8 o'clock. You work so hard to get that money by the 30th of the month, and by the 7th or the 8th of the following month, everything is gone. How much did you save? Nothing. Listen to the soul. The soul says, I would rather stay in the womb rather than getting under the control of Maya. Maya tricks you. The moment you allow Maya, she tricks you and you're completely gone. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada very clearly says, if you look at the last line, the conclusion of the child's prayer is, let me remain in this condition. Although it is very miserable, it is better not to fall a victim to Maya again by going outside. That's the silver lining of this particular purport. Saying that despite having so many difficulties in the womb, the soul says, let me stay here rather than going out. So having come out of the womb of mother, we should take it as our priority to ensure that we take up to Krishna consciousness, nicely associate with devotees, please the Vaishnavas, and go back home, back to Godhead. And as we said, if you see another person drowning, first is protect yourself and also help the other person to get out of it. Let him also not drown. So I think we've done with the time. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. If we have any questions, we can take, or if you have any comments, please go ahead and make the comment. And if there are any doubts, happy to answer any of your questions that you might have. Pardon me if I was a little heavy, but the fact of life is that we have to all realize that this is not a place for us to be around. We have to leave this place and go back home, back to Godhead at the earliest, and never to take birth again in this material world. Thank you very much. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we will end our session here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल।